Doing good, see ya.
No Halloween costume, Coach?
I'm sorry?
No Halloween costume?
No, that's right. I forgot it was Halloween. Kind of busy.
You should dress up as a sports writer.
That's exactly right. And get abused, right? That'd be
Live
it.
check to shack, Mac.
That's it. I should dress up like Ross. That would be it.
What would that look like?
You gotta
What would
get
that look
buttons.
like?
I don't know. I'm not going to go there, Ross. I'll leave that for the imagination.
That's dangerous.
So, very, very disappointed for Noah Taylor. The transfer portal's good for a lot of things, and he has been wonderful for us. I just talked to him. He was just told, and he's being positive. He wanted me to tell you all because he's got so many players worried about him and text him and calling him, and he said, let's get it out there and let everybody know. So we've got to thank him for all he's done. He's a tremendous leader. He's one of the reasons that our defense has improved so much. He will go to Charlottesville with us this weekend, or he's planning on it, and see his buddies. He came here to help us, and he came here to be in the NFL. So now what we've got to do is get him fixed and get him in a position where he has a chance to make an NFL team. When you're a head coach, the three toughest things you have, people think it's just losing. It's not. It's when a young guy gets hurt and can't play anymore as hard as these guys work. It's when a young guy gets in trouble and makes a poor decision, and these are young people that make poor decisions at some points of their life, and you hate the consequences, and you've got to hope that they wake up and can do better moving forward. And the third thing is that guys just don't get to play, that are working really hard, that are talented, and they've done everything right, and they don't get to play. So those are the three hardest things on a head coach, because you recruit these guys, you get them here, and you have aspirations for them, you have hopes for them, and then whether it's getting hurt, not playing, or getting in trouble, it's not what you expect and what you want for that family. So very physical game. We lost a lot of guys, but at the same time, that's what recruiting's got to do. Got to step up. You think about, we played the first part of the season without Josh Downs and Antoine Green, and our offense kept scoring points. So next man up, and that's what has to happen as you move forward. Really proud of our team's performance on Saturday night. It was a tough first half. I was a little disappointed that we scored before the half, but we got the ball back and had a chance to score again. And I was disappointed that we didn't move the ball and get points. And then coming out of the half, we've done a good job in the early third quarter, and we don't move the ball, and then Pitt goes right down and scores, and they hit number 5 again for the deep ball, which is what we talked about, doing a better job of stopping that at halftime. So we're at 24-14 with 10:37 left to go in the third quarter, and things aren't looking good. And then from that point forth, our defense stepped up and started making stops and had a turnover. Our kicking game kicked in with a punt return down to the 35 that led to points, and the turnover led to points. It was at plus 49. So we got short fields in both of those situations, and I think we scored 4 straight times, 4 straight drives in the second half, and put the game away. So 28 unanswered points. So really, really proud of the way the guys played from that 10:37 mark in the third quarter on. Offensive players of the game, Antoine Green and Drake May. Contributors at a very high level, Josh Downs, who could be the player of the game each week. Elijah Green continues to play well. We're so proud of him. And John Copenhaver, he keeps making plays. And a lot of blocking or whatever he's doing, and the entire offensive line. There was 1 sack contributed to the offensive line. So those guys really did a good job. We've given up 10 sacks in the previous 2 games. So that was a huge difference in this ball game. Defensively, Player of the game, he keeps playing great each week, is Kamen Rucker. He had a sack. He had the forced fumble. He just makes play after play after play. He played power end, but also when Noah got hurt, he played some jack. So he's smart, he's tough, and we just love the way that he plays. Contributors on defense, Kevin Hester has really stepped up since we lost Ray Bahasic. Ritzy is playing at a very, very high level. He's showing up all over the place. Both linebackers are playing at a high level. And Storm Duck played the best game since he's gotten hurt. And I thought it was one of the first times he really felt comfortable planning on that screen and coming up and making an aggressive play with his ankle. And then he made the fourth down stop that was the last play that Pitt had the ball. So very, very proud of Storm. And Don Chapman stepped up and did a lot of good things during the game. Special teams player of the game was Josh Downs. He made some really good decisions on the punt, saving some yardage, because usually if the punt hits the ground, it's 17 more yards of field position that you lose. And they were inconsistent with their punt, and he caught them and also took the one back to the 35-yard line that led to points. Contributors, Elijah Green, he makes a tackle at the 6-yard line, and that led to points. So they're learning that field position is so valuable, and that a tackle at the 6, defense has to step up. Then it's a short field and you score points. So Elijah just continues to do great things. Jalen Brooks, a walk-on, he's good on special teams every week. John Copenhaver's name comes up again. DJ Jones had to step in for injured players and play a position he hadn't even worked at, and did a really good job on special teams. Day Hollins is all over the place. Don Chapman, Elijah Green was playing a lot on offense. He was on every special team, and he got some cramps, and Don Chapman just jumped in and said, let me handle it. I'll take the place. And then Jake Harkleroad is another young walk-on that's playing at such a good pace for us that he actually covers kickoffs so well they've started double-teaming him. And we had 2 short kicks to start the game, and the guys covered to a point they didn't even get it back to the 25-yard line. Punt coverage has been really good. So the special teams are Saturday night started winning games, and instead of just being a participant. 7-1 for the first time since 2015. We were 7-1 in 97, 96, and 93. And the only other time we've been 7-1 since then was 1983. So this team has done some special things to get us to this point of the season. You love to be playing for something in late October, early November that's important. Again, I congratulate our crowd Saturday night. I thought they were great. I thought they helped us. They picked the guys up, and it was really, really loud. Offensively, one of the things we had not done against Pitt was finish with red zone touchdowns. We were 2 of 6 in the previous 2 overtime games. We were 5 for 5 Saturday night. You don't count the kneel down at the end of the game, but 5 touchdowns and 5 trips to the red zone. So I thought that was a huge difference in the ball game. We were 2 for 3 on 4th downs. We had the one to Josh that was over his head going in before the half, but we were 2 for 3, and both of those 4th down conversions led to touchdowns. We were 0 for 6 to start the game on 3rd down, and then 4 for 6 in the second half on 3rd down. So we got much better as the game went on. There's plays like Omarion Hampton fumbles the ball and Corey Gaynor gets on it. That probably saved points. That's a turnover at mid-season, at midfield. There's 2 balls on the ground during the game. Sid Gray gets on one, their fumble, and Corey Gaynor got on ours. So that means we won the turnover ratio 1-0 because of Corey's heads-up play. Instead of the running game, I thought the offensive staff did a really good job the second half of getting the ball to the backs and to Josh Downs in space. And that took the place of our running game because they were loading the box so much and blitzing all up inside. So we got our speed on the corners. Drake leads the nations in touchdown passes responsible for with 32, and also in total offense, 388 yards. So he's done a great job, and he's got really good players around him. and the offensive line's protecting him, and we've got very good receivers. So Josh Downs and Antoine Green are the first duo in North Carolina history to both record 100 yards receiving in back-to-back games. So another significant accomplishment for those young guys. Defensively, we held the running game in check. It's amazing. Abanikanda is so good. He gets 131 yards, and we did a good job compared to the 320 yards that he got against Virginia Tech and 6 touchdowns. He's just really a good player. And I was impressed by watching him play. But defensively against Appalachian State, we gave up 21 explosives. Saturday night, we gave up 8. So we're getting better. We're doing the little things better. We still gave up some big passes, but I was proud of the defense that they stepped up, and they held them to 367 total yards. And that's more like the defense that we want to play. They're giving up 23.5 points per game in the ACC, and that's a lot more like what we want to be instead of what we were at the first of the year. So we're making a lot of progress. Didn't give up another point after 10:37 left in the third quarter. 10:07, excuse me, left in the third quarter. While we said we had 28 unanswered points. Held them to 6 of 15 on third downs. There were 2 3rd and 1s that we made stops with one of the best backs in the country. One of those stops being the forced fumble that led to points, and then we stopped them on a 4th down. So a lot of progress on defense as we continue to watch those guys. We were worried about the time of possession. I think we touched the ball 3 times the first quarter. Time of possession, we ended up with 31 minutes and 28 seconds to their 28 minutes and 32 seconds. So we ended up with an edge in an area that we were really, really concerned about. And that made a huge difference. Special teams, we thought again, were really good. We covered kickoffs well. After the first couple, they just fair caught the rest of them or let them go over their head because we started kicking the ball better. Noah Burnett kicked the ones in the end zone after early. We covered punts well. We talked about Elijah Green's tackle at the -6 leading to points. And we had the great punt return that led to points as well. Virginia's the South's oldest rivalry. We've played that game more than any other that we've played. It's very important between 2 like universities. They're playing great defense. Brennan Armstrong threw for 553 yards against us last year. He threw for a career and hit all of them. They've got great receivers, and they're playing really good defense. And had a chance to beat Syracuse at Syracuse. Had a great chance to beat Miami the other day, and I know disappointed in that loss. Beat Georgia Tech on the road. So they're getting better each week, and Tony Elliott's done an outstanding job, and I'm very impressed with him and his story. Defensive coordinator came from Air Force, and we know his history and his background. He's really aggressive, but does an outstanding job of coaching. And Des Kitchens, we knew from NC State, the offensive coordinator. So we'll have our hands full. But we've talked about, proud of the guys that they're rated. And they're going up in the polls each week. I did ask them yesterday, I said 10 years from now, people aren't going to ask you where you were rated after game 8. They're going to ask you where you were rated at the end of the year. But nobody cares. So good for you, but forget it and move on. Secondly, you start talking about the scenarios in the Coastal, none of that matters. You got to be good enough to win. If you win, it takes care of itself. If you don't, it takes care of itself as well. So if you're good enough to win the Coastal, good for you. Go prove it. Don't talk about it. We don't need scenarios. We need to win. And if you're not good enough to win the Coastal, then you don't deserve it and shouldn't be in the conference championship anyway. And you don't want to back into the conference championship. You want to be good enough to earn the right to go play and have a chance to win. So we've got 4 hard weeks. We have people play us really well and give us their best effort anyway. We have we've gone from being the team that nobody talked about to the one now that's got we got the target on our back. So we're going to get the best out of 4 good teams for the next 4 weeks, and that'll be a fun challenge for us. And obviously with all these injuries, we're going to have to figure out who plays, and somebody got to step up, because you just can't use that as an excuse. You got to go play good. Questions?
As wonderful as sports can be, it's also cruel at times, and Noah's experiencing that. Can you share us a little bit more about the conversation, especially the timing, the season you guys are having, and then you guys getting ready to go back up to EVA?
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday, and he was in the team meeting, and we basically said that we want you to be one of the captains, and we want you to go with us and travel, and we don't take injured players. So he's different. This is unique. And he actually, I talked to him 5 minutes ago, and he had just been told by the doctors. And he said that he's obviously disappointed. And he said, all the players are so worried about me that they're all texting and asking me, can you please tell the media, and can you please tell the players I'll be okay, but I'm going to have an operation and I'm out for the year. And he doesn't have another year. So unlike British, he can't come back. He redshirted while he was at Virginia. So what I told him, you've been an unbelievable leader for us, and I'm so sorry. And this worked, and it's been great. Now we got to get you well and get you ready for the NFL. And I want you to keep leading, because that's something that you've done so well for us.
Who do you look to kind of fill his role in his place? I mean, Chris Collins, Kay Ruckers.
Yeah, Gene will talk to you some about that, Ross. But Chris Collins played really well the other night because Noah came out so early. Kamen Rucker went over and played some, but Malachi Hambrick played a lot. So we've just got to keep doing that. We've got to look at, with Dez out this week, Kamen came out of the game with a sore shoulder. So we'll probably have to look at Javari Ritzie some at power end. We're also seeing Jacoby Cowens playing better. He had a pressure and hit the quarterback once on Saturday night. And we may have to look at Bo Atkinson some too here at the end of the year, because that's where Bo's playing.
And you mentioned all the national attention you're starting to get. It really seemed to reach a tipping point after Drake's performance, especially a lot of Heisman buzz. He's leading with tied for total passing touchdowns, offense, all the stuff you said. Is there a way to start some mid-season Heisman campaign? How do you approach that? I mean, it's great attention for your university. It's kind of interesting time.
I don't know, Jeremy. You've done this more than anything else. I feel like that it takes care of itself if everybody knows he's good, and he was kind of the hype early, and then people are wondering when he was going to mess up. There's a freshman game in there somewhere, and so far he hadn't done that. So I think he just keeps doing what he's doing, and people keep looking at it, and it is what it is, but he's starting to be recognized as one of the best in the country, and I think that's a positive note for us and him. And I really, you worry about a guy that young getting that much attention, but Ross, I don't think it bothers him at all. You all see him all the time, and he's never different for me. He's still mad that he missed 2 passes in the game from Saturday night. I get amazed that you get so into the game. After the game, I see the stats, and I see he throws for that many yards and 5 touchdowns. And I mean, you just don't think about it. During the game, he makes it look so easy. So, but I think the award stuff takes care of itself. We've just got to keep winning.
Does Drake's performances, I mean, you've had a lot of freshman quarterbacks over the years. Does he rank anywhere near the top as the top freshman quarterback you've ever had a chance to coach?
Yeah, he really is. You start talking about guys like Vince Young. You start talking about Colt McCoy. These are guys that are really good players. So he's obviously in that mix. I think he's as good as anybody this early at running and throwing.
Mack, you're just talking about the coach goal and you need wins in that scenario. I think last week you kind of said, don't talk about it. I know you tell the kids that, but they are kids. Get excited or whatever. Do you think they're
I think they are. I told them to enjoy Pitt till tomorrow night. Till last night. Get through dinner, and then you gotta start on next week. And I show them each week now the heartbreaks of teams that are ranked and getting beat. And I said those teams all sat here ranked real high last Sunday, and then here they are with devastating losses. And it's happening and it's real. So you've got to make sure on Tuesday morning, Monday you start working on the next opponent, and by Tuesday morning you're all in to the next opponent. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this team is they really have been a player-led team. It's something we talk about all the time, but they have been. And I told them after the pregame talk on Saturday, I said, we are leaving you. This is your team. You get on the bus. You go play. We weren't out there on 3rd and 1. We can counsel you. We can guide you. But you got to play. And very honestly, if you're going to be the team we want to be here, there's a story to be told. And so far your story's really good. You got to finish your story. And your story's got 4 weeks. And then you've got another chapter. But you've got to finish it, and you've got to finish it right. And if you're ready to play, we're a good team. And we're getting better on defense. We've been good on offense all year. So, and special teams is really stepping it up. So if you're ready to play, we got a chance every week. If you're not ready to play, we'll get beat. So you have to be able to control your mind enough not to read social media and not to start feeling too good about yourself. Be hard on yourself. And what we should be talking about is we should be gaining confidence because of how we're playing, but also we should be really hard on ourselves for the things that we have to fix. And that's the biggest part of this. And I think this team's been as much fun as any I've ever coached, just because they listen and they're interested and they try to do well. So far they have tried every day in practice since spring, and they've played hard in every game, and that's hard to do. Now they got 4 more weeks to do that, but it'll be interesting to watch them. And after that physical game and losing so many players and guys having to step up this week, going on the road, again, I also told them, Aaron, and I thought this was interesting, we go on the road to Appalachian, we're up by 20 and we win by 2. And we're up by 20 in the 4th quarter. We go to Georgia State, we're up by 18, and we get in trouble. We turn the ball over at App State to get their momentum going. We turn the ball over at Georgia State 3 times, get their momentum going, and then the defense steps up and saves us in the 4th quarter. And then we go to Miami, and we have a lead, and we have to hold on and tip a ball and intercept a pass to win the game and on the last drive. And then we go to Duke, and we got a chance to go up by 17, and we mess it up. And then we have to take a drive to score with 16 seconds left and then tip a ball and intercept it to save the game. So the 4 games that we have played on the road have all come down to 4th quarter. It is harder to play on the road for whatever reason. We've had chances to extend those leads on the road, and we haven't done it. We've had a lot more turnovers on the road than we have at home. So for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's where you sleep at a different place, the fans are different with motivation, I don't know. But we're 17 and 6 at home, and we're 11 and 12 on the road. So I've told them we're going on the road, if you hadn't noticed. You have to play better on the road than you do at home to have a chance to win.
You've seen a lot of teams obviously take their form. Was what we saw in the last 25 minutes the other night maybe a convergence of some things you had seen coming and trending in that direction?
Yes, and I like it, especially the defense. I started seeing good defense, and we haven't seen that consistently, and I saw it for a half, really. So I like that, and that has to give them confidence and build on it. We were penetrating and more aggressive up front, linebackers playing downhill and doing things we've been talking about that we haven't done. The thing that worries you right now as a coach, Andrew, is I'm not seeing one game lead to the next. I'm seeing things like, how can Oklahoma State beat Texas and get beat 48-0? I mean, it's just crazy out there. And I don't know why. I study college football. I love watching college football. I try to figure out what happens and why. And I'm constantly looking at every little angle to help our guys stay alert and be ready to play. But I don't know. So what we've got to do with this team is we've got to take the positive things we're doing and not make it complacent. Last year we'd play great and awful. This year this team seems to be working to continue to get better. And if they keep doing that, we'll be okay in the next 4 weeks. Because we'll have a chance every week, but we could very well lose these 4 games just as easy.
Mack, you referenced Brennan Armstrong throwing for 550 yards against y'all last season. Obviously, Virginia's offense has been not as good this season. Is it, from your point of view, what has changed with them? Is it as simple as Bronco leaving kind of throwing the offense out of whack?
I don't think you ever know when new coaches come in. There's always changes. There's changes to offense. There's changes to scheme. There's changes to culture. Sometimes people respond to it very quickly. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Miami, same thing. And our business is so tough now. Again, I haven't counted them, but I think this may be the 5th new coach we've coached against this year. And got another one at Georgia Tech. So it's just crazy. Is this the 4th or 5th?
We fifth.
This is the 5th, and 6 of our 12 games will have a new coach by the time we play them, which is not a good look for college football.
And had you known Tony Elliott before this season? I think he was at Clemson before this.
Yes, Dabo and I are very good friends, and Dabo just admires him so much and respects him, and he's got an unbelievable story. And I sat with him at the ACC meetings this spring, and I really enjoyed getting to know him. And I told him that, I said, why do you come over here and sit with me instead of Dabo? You tired of Dabo after 10 years and you've heard enough? And he laughed and said, yes. So I told Dabo, I got a new buddy and he's not going to talk to you anymore. So I really like him. He's a nice man, and he'll do a great job at Virginia.
I'm sure there are some losses that stick with you, throughout your career. I wonder if the '96 loss up there in Charlottesville is one, and you obviously have some coaches that were on that team as well.
Yeah, there's probably 3 that stick. The NC State game last year, the 96 loss, and the Texas Tech loss where we were number 1 in the country and lost with 3 seconds left. And it's interesting that people ask you about those games. They don't ask us about we were down 20-3 here in '97 and won 48-20. Nobody remembers that one. So thank you, Andrew. You've never asked me.
I asked you about 96 before.
The
Yeah.
national title game's not on that list?
I'm sorry.
The title game where Colt got hurt is not on that list?
Yeah, but that was not fair because we had to put a freshman quarterback in, and I didn't do a good job getting him ready to play, and we were down by 3 with 3 minutes left to go in that game, and had a chance to win. But these others, we were at full strength. I don't count Colts because that was just, I didn't think that was fair to college football fans, because what a great game that would have been if Colt had been able to play, because it was still a great game, and we just lost. But when you're number 1 in the country and you lose to Tech with 3 seconds left, when you score with 1:24 left, you don't forget that one. When you blow a 9-point lead with 1:57 left at State, you don't forget that one. And this one, 17 points in the 4th quarter nowadays wouldn't be that big a deal. Back then in '96, it was a big deal because we had the ball going in and through the interception. So those are things you don't forget as a coach, and people don't let you forget them.
Does losing Caleb Hood for this week present an opportunity for someone else to step up, or more so just create another reason for guys like Antoine Reed and Josh Downs to have even bigger of a game this week?
No, we need to continue to grow at running back, and I don't want to act like we don't want to run the ball. We do, but we don't want to be stubborn, and we've done that some in the past. Why run up inside and get no yards and be 2nd and 10? And we still did that twice the second half. But in the 4-minute offense, Omari and Hampton came in and made some yards twice, to make a first down on the short yardage and then make 6-8 yards to kill the clock at the end. So it gives a chance for George Pettaway to come on, and DJ Jones is healthy now again. So he gets a chance to step up, and Omarion has been good, and I'm so proud of Elijah Green. He's just like a poster player for doing everything right at a time where we're living in selfishness and transfer portal, and I don't get to play. I'm pouting in the locker room after the game. This guy's been on the scout team as a running back this year, challenging our defense every play and on every special team, and he never gripes about anything, and he's a top student in our business school, and I mean, he is, every time some player's griping, I say, go talk to Elijah. He made it work for him.
Mack, is that, for a coach, you're talking about the losses you never forget, is that, just listening to you, the question occurred to me, is that where the notion of curses come from? Because you're not going to forget them anyway, but then everyone reminds you of it. You know, like people say you're cursed at Virginia or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is that where that notion comes from? Because no one lets it go?
I don't believe in curses.
Okay.
I don't believe in that. The other thing that's weird is people give coaches too much credit when you win and too much criticism when you lose. We sit around and talk about it's a player-led team all the time. I've done very little to help this team. We kind of guided them in the spring. We got them off on the right place, but they came up with their PAT, passion, accountability, and toughness, and they've lived up to it. You can't make people do things. You can guide them. You can encourage them. And I've never lost or won a game. Players do. And that's it. And then people talk about curses. Half of this team's never even been to Charlottesville. Right. And we're talking about one week not carrying over to the next, 1 year, or the curse from 1996. Damn sure doesn't talk. Some of these weren't alive. So, I mean, I could move on without that being an issue in my life. And do I beat myself up for losses we've had? Yeah, because I always wonder what could I have done differently to help. You know, that's the tip ball over the middle that's intercepted for the touchdown in '96. I'd have run a draw and kicked a field goal. What would you do different? The loss at Texas Tech, what would I have done? I would have run the clock down and called timeout before the first play when we were first and goal from the 7, instead of waiting till the second play because he ran a counter play and scored on the first play. And I would have had the clock down to 40 seconds now instead of staying at 124 to give them a chance to take it down the field. And I remember then we kicked it off, and he was supposed to kick it on the hash. He kicked it in the middle of the field. They ran it back to the 37. One of our defensive backs had the ball hit him right in the hands, which would have won the game. We'd still be number 1. It slipped through. Do you remember those things? Yeah. Every one of them. Do I remember all the wins? Nah, I'm like a fan.
Was that the Crabtree game?
Yes.
Yes.
You can't single crack.
Yeah.
The quad.
Yeah.
Mack, from a program standpoint, how important is Drake getting this high? Just strictly from the program, you talk about being a cool place to play and all that, but the real life that he's getting.
Tommy, kids want to play with really good players. And when they see what we're doing offensively and they see the improvement on defense, we're having some kids call us back in recruiting that are saying, hey, would you still be interested? And that's a cool place to be. That's why it's important that we finish. But absolutely, if you're a receiver right now, why would you go anywhere else? I mean, he hit 10 different receivers and 4 different guys scored the 5 touchdowns, and he's got an amazing knack to find the open receiver. But yes, I do think the hype really helps us across the board. People are excited on campus. I said it Saturday night. It's fun to see your campus buzzing and Chapel Hill full and fun. And I walk on campus and kids are so excited about the team and season. So it's a fun time. That's where you want to be.
On Drake, man, I've probably asked you this, probably asked longer this before too as well, but Are you surprised at how good he is? I mean, you probably knew he was going to be pretty good, but I mean, he is making some throws that are incredible, and just the numbers.
I am surprised that he's this good this fast. The throws that amaze me are he pumps the fake, and Spencer Rolland does a good job of running the defensive end upfield, and he steps up underneath it. He's going to his right. He kind of pumps it. The defensive back for Pitt falls down, and then he just lays it up to a perfect throw to Josh. That's hard to do. Another one is he gets outside the pocket to his left, and he's headed toward our bench, and Antoine Green's downfield, and he very easily throws to his left, back across his body, and hits a strike. Those are things that just the pass to Kamari Morales, the corner route, when he caught it inches in, I mean, it's like it's perfect. So he just has a knack of with a quick release, and he has a knack of putting the ball where it's easiest to catch. Those deep balls to Antoine Green, the throw to Josh. You know, it's and it goes back to the Colt McCoy days for me. When he misses one, I'm shocked. He's sprinting and he throws a low pass to Josh Downs, and I'm thinking, what's that about, man? And that's one of the few he missed all night. And he's doing a better job of sliding, and he's doing a better job of not taking sacks. If it's not there, he's going to get rid of the ball, and he's going to throw it in the right place to make sure it's just an incompletion. So that's where I think, Ross, he's playing way beyond his years.
Are the NFL scouts already calling you?
There's no question. But you know what they were last year? It was really interesting. When they would come in, they would say, "Who is 10?" I mean that, and we said, "Yeah, he's going to be good."
Mack, you talked about Elijah Green as the poster child for doing everything right. Can you see the influence of a guy like British on the team who's also been in the program for a while?
Yes. British is, and I think it's one of the reasons British wants to come back, but he's done everything right. He leads, and he's there every day, and he picks these guys up, and I see him sitting on the bench during the game talking to running backs, and for you look at this team. I told Antoine Green Saturday night, right before you all talked to him, I was so proud of him because he breaks a collarbone, and he's had awful luck, and here he's thinking he may never play, and he wants to be a great senior, and he wants to have a tremendous pro career. He may be through when he's laying out there on that field. I mean, the look on his face, and he teared up. I felt so bad, and I told him the other night, I am so proud of you. People forget you laying on that field in preseason with a broken collarbone thinking you may never play again, and here you are catching balls for more than 100 yards each week. British leader, captain, only running back in our room with much experience. He gets hurt, and again, he picks you up because he's being so positive. And then you look at Ty Lee, as sad as that is, and as much as he's fighting for his life with cancer, it's been a great message to the rest of us. We need to lift him up, but don't worry about a bad knee. Here's a guy fighting for his life, and Ty Lee is at everything. He's at every practice. He had his treatments last week. He gets nauseous after his treatments. He will not stay at home. We tried to get him to stay at home, and he said, "I'm good, Coach. I need to be out here." And he works out every day with the trainers. So there's just been some really good messages that all of us have learned to experience this year and step up and understand that our lives are in pretty good shape.
Mack, I know I asked you the other night about if it was starting to feel like a special season. This is kind of the same thing, but like as you measure the progress of your team, I mean, this is beyond the X's and O's, obviously, but can you point to a point in the season and then compare it to now to where the belief might be greater than it is? Can you see the belief and the confidence or whatever that we're going to figure out a way to win this game like you did Saturday night? Can you see that or feel it developing and growing as you continue to win these games?
Yes, Adam, absolutely. What you want, you're so proud of. When you walk in that team meeting on Sunday after a game, you want them happy and to feel good about themselves. And last year there were 7 times we didn't, and 6 times we did. I mean, and right now they are so happy on Sundays. They're laughing. They're singing. We play gospel music on Sunday, and they're all singing their gospel music and clapping when I walk into those meetings, because it's Sunday. You know, it's church. But they're having fun. And one of the most important things, especially at this stage in my life, is that your team has fun. And that's hard to do anymore. There's so much pressure, and not everybody gets to play. So for me as a coach, we said that our common goals for us would be that we want everybody to have fun. We want everybody to graduate. We want to win all the games, and we want to have everybody in there prepare better for life after football. And this group is embracing that, and they're really enjoying each other and pulling for each other and having fun. And I saw Justin Olson's not playing very much right now. When Josh Downs came out and kind of held his hamstring, Justin came over and said, "You okay? Can I help you or do something?" And that's the way this team's doing. It's I've taken more time. Jacoby Criswell, I mean, he is so positive and helps Drake so much. He comes out of the game and he and Drake slap hands coming out. It's just it's been a fun team because the kids are really, really trying to help each other and do what's best for this team.
Is that maybe why you point? You said, you know, not to disparage last year, but is that maybe why you point to last year? Just because you compare the two feelings?
Yeah,
like,
and last year had some great players that were great kids that tried hard, and there were times that it worked.
Yeah.
It was just so inconsistent. And as my job, one of my jobs is to make sure that they're consistently good and getting better. And I missed it. I just didn't do it, and that's why I've said that the whole time. That's on me. We didn't have a player-led team with consistent good leaders last year. And this team is out of our hands because they've taken over, and they're being positive. And I worry this week after such a physical game, will they be as excited going on the road? But so far, they've answered the bell every time.
I was going to say, how did you keep the defense from getting discouraged early on? Like you're talking about belief. How did you keep it from going totally opposite and them feeling like they couldn't improve, they wouldn't be any better than what they were?
CL, it's a great question because we were bad. I mean, at times, and you know, and then right now, modern day, we get overreactions with social media to a point that they hurt it all. So I think all of the credit should go to Gene Chizik and the defensive coaches because they stayed positive more than me. I mean, I'm in there asking them some hard questions, and they're saying, "We're okay, we're good. We got to do this better. We got to do this better." But when Gene took to his accountability Sunday, and he took every play that we did well and showed them why, and this is who we want to be, and took every play that was a struggle and showed this or this player messed that up, and we've got to fix that. The other 9 of you did what you're supposed to do, and you were good, but we got to fix this, and you too have to fix it. And then he would say, I thought it worked so well when he said, "This was a bad call. I put you in an impossible position, and you saved me. But that explosive play is on me because it was a bad call." So I thought Gene's confident. He's won 2 national championships, so he walks into the room with credibility. He is the ultimate positive guy. He's got very strong faith, and they really believe in him. And the other coaches do too. When you think about Charlton and he had worked together, Tommy Thigpen and he had worked together, so that they know this before. So I think all that credit should go to Gene and that staff for staying positive, even more than me. Because like I said, I've been hard on them, and they've responded. We're going, hang in there, coach. We're going to be good. We're fine. We got to fix some things. And I said, yeah, fast, man. Help me. But they are. I really loved watching our defense the second half the other night. I love watching them get better. And that's what coaching's about. You're supposed to take your team and help them get better. And when they're getting better, and to challenge Coach Longo and the offensive staff on going for fourth downs and getting better on third down, but mostly scoring touchdowns instead of field goals. They've done it. They're doing what we're asking them to do. So I really like the way this staff's working together and the positive attitude that they have. I just, again, I heard 5 minutes ago that Noah was out for the season, so I had to stick my head in with Gene and say, have you heard Noah's out? And he said, yeah, I just did. And he's already, here's what we're going to do. And here's what we'll do. We've got to take care of Noah, but here's what we've got to do on the field on Saturday, Coach. We'll be fine. We've got to move on. So that's just what coaching is.
2 follow-up questions. First, you mentioned before when we asked about Drake May and his ability to be so good about recruits calling back. Are you telling these recruits, yeah, we are open to you being part of UNC football, or once they say we don't want anything to do with you, goodbye?
It's case by case. You know, you look at it, and if number one, maybe we committed somebody better. So, but we will obviously take every call and look at it, and then make decisions on what's best for our team.
The second question, you mentioned before Elijah Green being part of that scouting team of making the defense better. Are there any other guys we've seen develop and help the defense get better because they've been a part of that offensive scouting team?
Yeah, there's a lot of young offensive linemen that are down there working, and we've had we're getting some injuries, so that's going to hurt us some here at the end with we call it our show team. But we've had guys like Tamari Fox. You've had Keyshawn Silver goes down some. Jacoby Cowan's been down there some. I mean, these guys, Bo Atkinson, like we talked about, we've had the best show teams to show us the other teams' plays and defenses that we've ever had. And again, that's a product of recruiting. So to handle the injuries that we've been hit with here at the end, the only way that this has a chance to save us is that we've recruited well enough, and there's young guys that have to play beyond their years here and are going to have to help us get through this. We couldn't have done this our first year. If we'd had this many people hurt, we'd be through.
You guys good?
Yep.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
Dang it, covered it.
Thank you all.
Are any of the players dressing up as you for Halloween?
I hope not. I hope they're not going out.